Hey, I'm seeing people come in the chat, Celly. You know what time it is, right?
Oh yes, ma'am. Yeah, we got a huge game to talk about. We got a couple of well, we have one of the gentlemen from last week, George, back with us again. Unfortunately, the mall is out with COVID, so we only have George today. Um, Sounds like the mall will be good. So hopefully next week, after the second leg, he'll be able to join us again. So the mall, if you're watching, hope you get better soon.
Yep, the
But yeah,
mall, we miss you.
definitely looking forward to getting into this match today for sure.
And for everyone who's in the chat, we have our good friends or enemies, I guess, as we might want to say, from last week back to talk about the game today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in George. Hey, George.
Hello, how's it going, everyone?
Good. How are you?
What a game.
I know.
What a back and forth.
And thank you for coming back on, because I guess we didn't scare you off yet. So hopefully you'll stick in for one more round.
Hopefully, probably by next week, I might get scared off. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Definitely, this is quite the build up for the game next week for certain. As we all predicted, it was a very close match, and head to head, really there at the end. I know David Moyes was sweating quite a bit. So, what are you guys thinking? What do you think about the game, George? Give me your insights.
It sums up very well. When we have the possession of the ball, we don't seem like to create our chances. We had almost 69, 70% at one point during the game possession, and yet we couldn't even get any chances by you guys. It was all through crosses and all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely, you could definitely tell where it was a tit for tat game. Nothing was given out. Obviously, our goal that we conceded was kind of sloppy from our right back and Boateng. But also for you guys, it was very sloppy from the defender for you guys when Ndombele scored that equalizer. So it's now coined up, and I'm not saying it just for the West Ham game. I think a lot of the Europa League ones so today, it's all very close, all 1-1 draws minus one game. It's for that second leg to be a very good second leg for both all ties, but this one specifically too as well. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely, at least for our standpoint, we're going back to back stages of this game or this tournament, where we were down to Sevilla last time and obviously we're 1-1 now. But if that away rule had come into effect, West Ham would be in a pretty precarious spot, to where we'd have to go into Lyon and end up, having to score 2 goals to go by instead of just one. But yeah, I mean, to your point as well, I think, last week we talked about the highest offense and the best defense, the highest scoring offense rather, and the lowest goal allowed defense. At the end of the game, 65% possession for Lyon, 25 shots, but only 4 of those shots were on goal. I'm not sure what that was in terms of second half shots. Obviously, when Lyon was up,
and it had to be all second half because I think the first half, I don't think there was any shot on target. But yeah, we still got 60+ possession of the ball. It's story of our season. We like to have the ball, but we don't know how to shoot it. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's interesting because kind of like how we were talking about last week. I think this game matched up perfectly in terms of what West Ham would want to do defensively. Kind of sit back, let you guys, rein in with the pressure we absorb, and then we counterattack. And I think for any, Lyon fans who haven't seen West Ham, I think, you saw how potent our counter, has the potential to be. You have Dawson, beautiful outlet pass to Benrahma, just kind of gets closed off in the corner, can't pass it down to Bowen. Misses the shot. And then another time, I think outlet to, again, Benrahma, but he gets it to Antonio. So that part of it's always there. But I think before we get too far into it, and I know a lot of fans want to talk about it, I guess the big elephant in the room
yes, it is.
would be that red card. So I guess just from your perspective, George, how did you see that from a Lyon perspective?
Well, I first want to say the announcers for Paramount Plus kind of said it themselves. The Zuma was not going to be anywhere near close with Dembele with Cresswell. So Did I see it warranted as a red? Yeah, because technically he had the ball. He was going to go for the goal. Was it harsh? Just a tad bit. But if he was the last defender, he chugged him. They played the part, and the ref fell for it. Let's face it. Do I warrant it as a red card? By the letter of the law, it is a red card. So that is warranted. So it was just Zuma was nowhere near Cresswell to be able to get to warrant it for not being a red card. And the announcers said that afterwards, and it's pretty much they poo-pooed on Cresswell. Let's face it, at times that mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand a card. Essentially, anytime any player's hand comes up about mid-body, you have to call it. So they had to, even though his arm, slightly brushed him, as our New Hampshire Hammer is saying here. It still was a card. Do I think it was a red card? I don't think it was flagrant. It didn't appear flagrant. So yeah, it was difficult to lose Cresswell. I think that, I'm definitely excited for him to come back, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Celly, on the cards?
Yeah, no, it was a very interesting sequence of events because just as Wally says in the comment underneath the hammer there is, Bowen was fouled a lot harder just before that play even happened, going into our attacking third, where he was kind of checked in the back and he fell forward. But I think, it's interesting because on a couple of different aspects of it, George, as you said, it is harsh. But I think at the same time, Cresswell shouldn't have put himself in that position, to pull the player's arm back. I mean, I do think that Dembele, as big of a man as he is, to fall down, getting your arm pulled. I think obviously it's a dive, like you said. The referee fell for it. I mean, it's unfortunate. It sucks for us, obviously. But yeah, I think it's just like you said, just the optics of it just weren't great. I think it sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. I think to go a whole half after that and essentially play with the man down, and it feels from a West Ham fan perspective as if you're playing against 12 other people, with the ref
Technically,
included.
you guys had 12-2. You guys had 2 streakers on the pitch. Come on now.
Yeah, no, so real quick,
not streakers, but like fans on the pitch. You technically had 12
talking
too.
about that was weird.
That was a lack of security.
I was shocked. I was like, really, not one, but two?
The second one was really frustrating because we were building up a little bit of possession there on the counter. Lyon wasn't all the way back yet. We kind of had numbers, and we were, trying to get through. And who knows if we would have scored? I think we would have definitely at least had a decent chance of getting a goal. But if that was a West Ham fan, because I don't want to sit here and think that was, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some other team supporter in a West Ham shirt. Because the thing that throws me off of that too is the second streaker, the kid, was like flipping off the West Ham fans. Like, what are you? That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, that was really frustrating, and I think that was almost as frustrating to me as the red card was. From optically, one of our own fans running onto the field when we have possession. I mean, you can see the West Ham players were all visibly frustrated. Moyes was frustrated, the coaches, all that stuff. So I don't really know what that was about. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure they'll find out who he is.
I was reading out Lucas's comment. He was like, apparently the second runner was apparently a Chelsea fan that nabbed his cousin's ticket to the match.
Oh, wow.
Supposedly. So
yeah,
definitely was not Lyon supporters because I could definitely hear them in the background. They were quite loud.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And Lyon supporter, when you're an away European fan traveling, you're smarter than that,
Yeah, we're not
for
stupid.
Sure.
But also, I have to say, like during most times, the atmosphere was very dull, and I think you guys can probably agree. At times, it wasn't as electric as what you felt it for the match against Sevilla.
I think it was more so like tension. I think especially for us when we're down a man and. Obviously, like I was saying, 65% possession. We only had 35. We had 5 shots all game, 3 on target. I think it was just more so tension of just like, okay, like let's just not mess this up, because we've come this far, whatever. Biggest game.
We were saying the same exact thing on our end. Don't mess it up, please.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I guess even on that note, good transition. Jared Bowen, 52nd minute. As you were saying, it was kind of a lucky goal for us, as both goals were, but this one for sure with the deflection and it bouncing over the keeper on the counter. I think that injected some atmosphere, some pulse into the stadium, and it definitely put the game on. I don't know how to say it, but it amplified the action, if you will. Teams, you couldn't necessarily be defensive at that point anymore. At least for Lyon, obviously you had to go for it. For us, we could kind of sit back and just keep absorbing and maybe hit you on the counter. But yeah, when the goal went in for Jared Bowen, what was your reaction? What were you thinking?
Well, expletives is one. Two is our right back kind of did another like what you're thinking kind of moment when he knew that they were like right near it, gives a pass back, completely botches it, and then Boateng tried to do it, was a big culprit of it that caused them to get the goal in, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought my first thought was, what an embarrassment would it be if we lose 1-0 away from home to a team against 9 men. 10 men, excuse me. It should never happen, right? You should mitigate it or something. So it's like you got to take out Romain Favre and Jerome Boateng. You got to change it up a little bit, and he did. He took out Romain Favre and Boateng, and he put in Karl Tokuri Kambi and Tete. And again, second game in a row. I'm not sure if you saw Angers. He was also a sub then. Comes on, not even a couple minutes later, gets the game-winning goal. Comes on here now, gets the tying assist for Ndombele. A goal and assist in 2 games.
Yeah, no.
Best Lyon player in a long time, right? Best Lyon player.
Yeah, no, I know you had spoken about him briefly last time that we spoke. With him being one of those players from Ukraine that was able to transfer, with everything going on over there. Yeah, I mean, he was fun to watch in the sense of fun to watch as a neutral, but like as a West Ham fan, I'm like, okay, this guy's going to turn the game over. And I think, you could kind of feel it because, he was able to hold up possession, get some sneaky passes in, almost scored once. So I could definitely see where the excitement was, in terms of, Lyon supporters for him to be there. Do you think he's a player that starts next week?
Well, I hope so. But obviously, keep in mind, we got him on a special situation because of the Ukraine war. So we don't know what his fitness level is yet. They're probably easing him into it. Probably. Do I see him playing Thursday more? Absolutely. Will he be playing in Strasbourg? Yeah, he'll probably be a sub. I think he'll be a sub next game, and probably for West Ham, I would love to see him as a right wing. Romain Favre, who's normally plays better on the left wing, and Karl Tokuri Kambi up front with Paqueta behind him. That's all I ask. And then Aouar and Ndombele, and then Thiago Mendes and Lukeba with Gusto and Emerson. That's all I ask. And hopefully they deliver, because let me tell you, if things go badly, the Lyon fans will let them hear it. So, yeah, he needs to be in this squad. He's a goal and assist in 2 games, instant impact. Like, that's huge. We need to get someone like that on the pitch more often. So, the answer to that long question is yes.
No, you're good. Were you satisfied with your starting 11 today?
No. No. Jerome Boateng should not be playing center back. Whenever he's on the pitch this season, he just seems it's hard to track back. He's making these stupid errors. And it's become more recent now with Angers. He gave up 2 stupid goals. That was under his fault. And he again did it again here for West Ham. So he's definitely nothing's vibing with him here. I don't mind his experience as in leadership, but his playing abilities right now is not that. It's not to our standard. Let's face it. And I didn't want him in the lineup. I want Thiago Mendes in center back because him as a center back is better than him as a midfielder.
Okay.
I'd rather have Aouar link up with Ndombele. Well, this was late breaking, but apparently Carl Tokuyukami had a negative test, so he was able to travel. So that's why in the list he was not initially on it. He had COVID. But I would like Carl Tokuyukami in there as well and get Tete in because he's an actual winger. A winger, not a striker morphed into a winger. He's an actual winger. And to actually, balance the lineup out because I didn't like it. Dembele was useless other than that red card, but that's a whole nother issue in his winking abilities. He was useless. We tried to, and it just. But if we have like a Toko Ikambi who has played there before, has done a very damn good job for Cameroon and such. Put him in where he's naturally good. So I was okay with it, but there had to have been some changes. And obviously, Boss just likes to be boss and does his own shit. So pardon my language.
Yeah, I thought that was going to sort of play to our advantage. I thought that, maybe we could have gotten the ball down the field a little bit better when it was a transitional play. So when we would, recover the ball, essentially, I thought we would have a better attack. But it looked like, Antonio just had a difficult time breaking through there because you kind of had been collapsed in with, the way everyone was set up in the midfield and then the back. So we just really didn't get a lot of the opportunities that we typically do with breakaways and that kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting. And I am interested to see how you set up next week. I also am interested to see what happens for us because we have several individuals that are back from injury. So whether or not Moyes will play them, I'm not sure.
And also your left back. Who's your backup left back? I honestly don't know. So
neither do we.
No. So that's the next question because your starter is now red carded, so he can't do it. So you're gonna have to make someone that's a center back a left back, or change the formation.
No. So more than likely, what will happen is the gentleman who was playing for him today probably will start there, Ben Johnson, and then you might have Ryan Fredericks again on the right, or Vladimir Sufal, a Czech international, play in place of where Fredericks did. Ryan Fredericks is a very interesting player in the sense of he's almost always the fastest player on the pitch, but that's kind of like where it ends for him. He can get back defensively, but I think he's just a pest. As I'm sure you saw today, he wasn't always getting in front of the player he was defending, but he was pacey enough to just agitate them for them to not be able to be comfortable enough for what they wanted to do with the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if if Frederick started again, especially with the pace of your side. Sufal on the opposite side of that, he's not as fast, but he's just way more physical. I think as a defender, he's better, but they both kind of share the trait of not being able to cross moving forward. Sufal is not afraid of a shot. He just can't score. Not that he necessarily needs to, but I don't know, that'll be interesting too to see how that pairs up.
Can I respond to Lucas real quick? First of all, we never pay refs. That's Juventus. Number two, it's not us that choose the referee. It's UEFA. If you want to write a letter, write an email, tweet at UEFA. Don't yell at us for it because we have no issues with this.
I understand that, but really, Kieran, I love it here. What about the injuries and the falling? Everyone always says that that's always a thing, but
it's prevalent in every league in the world.
But it was just funny. Kieran brought that up.
Clearly, it doesn't happen in England. It happens all the time in England.
Was there a noticeable, like, I guess with our players specifically, like, did you notice or did you take away anything of like they're falling down too lightly type of thing, or did it detract from either side for you for the game?
I
know it's kind of a tricky question.
It's a tricky question. it isn't your fault. It's just stating a fact. Oh, well, you like to complain a lot, but that's beside the point. Okay. Anyways, answer your question. There was probably a couple, but I can't think of names because I don't have the lineup in front of me. So you got to bear with me here. For me, I think probably Zuma, but that he wasn't fouled that much, but probably I would say maybe like Antonio at times, but quite frankly, Ben Rama. Okay, Ben Rama is another one. Those two are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head, unfortunately. But I'll be honest, it's for some people to say like, oh, it's only just outside of England. We see it all the time, even the EPL. I'll admit I'm also a Burnley supporter. So yeah, as an EPL that I follow, because that's a whole nother issue. We can talk about that another day. You see it all the time. So it's like, I don't know why people are thinking that it's just only I don't know why that kind of issue keeps bringing it up. It's the nature of the game now. It's always been, and it's been more prevalent recently, obviously. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a very frustrating thing. And obviously that is definitely prevalent in every league. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't see it in the Premier League because it's very clear. I mean, you look at any Saturday or Sunday, when Manchester United plays or Manchester City, they're always going to get, some type of shtick in the sense of they, just fall for the penalty. But yeah, so I guess kind of fast forwarding to
they probably won't understand the language barrier between Jack Grealish and many of the French people that are on our team.
To be fair, nobody understands what Jack Grealish is saying in the first place.
That's why I was laughing. I'm sorry. Continue. I apologize.
No, you're good. So yeah, Tanguy Ndombele, if I'm saying his name correctly, gets the equalizing goal in the 66th minute. Kind of looking back at that goal, it seemed as if it was, and I was on the show earlier, funny enough, with Lucas, and he was saying that goal was a double-edged sword in the sense of if Fredericks hadn't attacked the ball, that either Ndombele or the gentleman behind him was going to poke it in. It happened to just kind of ricochet off of Fredericks and go in. Obviously, you get him how you can. What are your thoughts on that goal, the build up to it, all that stuff?
That was a sigh of relief because we can be like, okay, we're not going to lose yet. We're not losing in Europa League yet. We haven't lost. But also, it before Ndombele, it was again the work of Tete and how much of an impact this guy has in such a short period of time. But my first reaction was like, hell yes. Okay, we might come back and get maybe a win. We need a win, because I'll admit our goal is probably, if we lucky to get a draw, we'll be happy because we can always bring it back home and do the work there. Yeah. It still holds true to me today. But knowing that you guys were a man down, we're like, we need a win because it would not look right just drawing against a 10-man West Ham. It would be but you guys did play very well. So in the end, when Ndombele's goal came in, I was like, oh, phew. I get a brief sigh of relief, and then we're like, okay, now let's go one further. Let's see if we can get one more to be ahead leading into our game. So that way it's not much like your stadium was today, a lot of tension, It'll be loud and noisy, but I don't think it would be tension. It would only be tension if we're going down, if we're down again, like we did this game around. So
is it, I know you were saying that it was, very tense when you were down 1-0. When after you guys equalized, and I guess even after the game, did you kind of have like a thought of like, it was great that we're coming out of this, we're coming back, it's basically 0-0, but we only scored when they were down a man? Is that something that kind of plays in your mind?
A little bit, but I'll admit, we were down, we were like, what else is new? It's a story of our season. Fair. So we didn't really have much expectation because this team has been so hot and cold. We don't even know what's going on, let alone per hour, let alone at the moment, So, and back to the original question. I would say probably. I mean, I'm satisfied, but I wish we could have done more.
Sure.
With the amount of possession, we should have had more shots on target. We should have been able to poke through instead of doing a crossing of the ball. But again, our system and how it's played, we're very bad with a low block defense. So that's our weakness. And David Moyes, credit to him, figured it out and was able to frustrate us the entire time. How do we wish we had more goals? Absolutely. Maybe 2-1 would probably have been more reasonable because we were down. You guys were down a man. It would have been better to like just win that way. But I'll take a draw, and now it's up to fate. And hopefully it doesn't go to penalties.
Yeah, no, I definitely think
it's about that.
It's going to be kind of it's going to be a very pacey game. I feel like when we get to France the next week, and
I feel like this next leg is going to be a lot more open.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I think to a degree, I think the possession will probably fare about the same. Maybe not as extreme as 65-35, but probably no worse than, I don't know, 55-45, 60-40 type stuff. Just because I know Moyes doesn't prefer to have the ball a lot. I think he's very comfortable in the system that absorbs and gets back. I think for us, and I'll ask you the same question in a second, and Katie, you as well. I think our man of the match, honestly, today was Craig Dawson. Our center back paired up with Kurt Zuma. I think the confidence that Moyes has in that pairing, and even the back four in general, I think he's very comfortable. And then obviously you have Declan Rice and Souček. So you got 6, pretty quality players back there that you have to break down, which obviously, as you saw, isn't the most easiest thing to do. But yeah, no, I think, from West Ham's perspective, I hope that they're able to do more when we have possession of the football. As much as I enjoy the counterattacking style, I just hope that, we put some pressure on Lyon. Obviously Lyon is prone to giving up goals. And, especially when you were saying one of your better defenders is out, I hope that, we're able to take advantage of that, kind of, what's the expression? Kind of like shush the crowd a bit.
Yeah. And you also did really quiet Lucas Paqueta because he didn't really have a great game today, I'll be honest. You guys definitely had the mindset of shutting him down because he's the one that orchestrates everything and makes everything go through, and basically only relied on crosses. So props to you guys in doing that too. Because if you do isolate Paqueta, you do really, it's a night and day of what happens with this team without him. So good job.
Who is your man of the match for Lyon? And why?
I wish I could say Tete, but he was only there for like a short period of time. But I would say Ndombele. I think obviously the game-tying goal. There we go. I wish it was game-winning, but he actually did pretty good in midfield. He kind of did pick up the slack where Maxence Caqueret was with being like N'Golo Kante, picking up in it and just going forward with it. And he did pretty well pairing with his Houssam Thiago Mendes was in that position. Sorry, Houssam is on the left. He did pretty good with Thiago Mendes because Thiago Mendes actually stepped up today for midfield. Shocker. But I would say Ndombele, I think his game has been pretty good since coming back. Obviously, he was in a low point because being with Spurs, let's face it, anything over there is always a bad point in your life. I know. That was a bad joke. But
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
For me, it would be man of a match would have to be Ndombele.
Okay. And Katie, what about you for us?
Yeah, I thought for you, I thought it was Tete for sure. I know that he only played a short amount of time, but
the impact was so much better with him on there.
As from the Anvil said, Tete looks like a baller. I completely agree. I totally think that he would be a great fit for West Ham United. So if we ever had to, take a look at him. I can
see him leaving. Well, he's only on loan with us to the end of the season, and I can see him probably going to a Premier League club because Shakhtar's going to probably ask a little bit extra, which we probably can't afford at this time. So an English Premier club probably look at that and be like, you know what? I can probably go for him, i.e. You guys probably already scouted him. Oh wait, you guys were playing against him, so you guys probably already know a lot about him. So don't be surprised if West Ham's thinking about getting him, because I don't think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure we'll be interested in signing him. Whether it happens or not,
Well,
we'll
if you
see.
splash the cash, I think you can do it.
Oh, that's the key is
yeah,
splashing
where's
the cash.
There's no
Yeah.
cash here.
As the announcers said, it's two owners, correct? One is like $4 billion net worth, and the other one's £1 billion net worth. So you have £5 billion worth. You mean to tell me you can't
We
do
do.
like
Oh no, we
30
do
million?
have a new owner now, a new minority owner.
Yeah.
Who it'd be nice to see if he does have the ambition that we hope that he does. But I guess previous to that, their ambition is a very loose word. Our transfer windows are usually just narrowed down to deadline day. So we'll see what happens
We
with
rely
that.
on free transfers or the youth academy, but the youth academy is
Yeah,
good.
or
But free
we're also
transfers usually nowadays.
we're also famous for a loan with an option to buy. Is usually how our transfers work as well. But yeah, so moving forward to next week, what for Lyon? What are you hoping you do differently? And that can include obviously starting lineup. What are you hoping that you do the
I was
same?
just going to say starting lineup. If we had that starting lineup, I think we hit the ball rolling and actually have penetrate you guys like through the middle instead of just doing the long ball, because you guys have very tall defenders. So it's easy for you guys to clear that out. So if we go through it and be able to muster one within the first 15 minutes, I think that can easily change the game in that case. Because then after you guys are backs against a wall and you guys are like away from home, so where's that like home crowd to help you, motivate you, and get you and all that kind of stuff. So lineup change that we said before. We have to penetrate you guys through the middle a little bit more, other than through the crossing of the balls. And we have to get you guys within that first goal within the first 15 minutes, because that's like, I guess it's the most tense part, I guess, quote unquote, because
The opening of the match.
The opening of the match, at first 15 minutes, got to hit him on the spot, because that's what we did with Porto, and that's how it turned. And look how that turned out in that second leg we went through. So being able to get the goal early, and not just one, probably like 2 goals at least. So that way to feel a little bit more comfortable, obviously. But that's kind of what we need to do. At least 1 or 2 goals. Get him early. Get him early, because that will change the psyche afterwards, and basically and ride it out pretty much.
Get the home crowd behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
What
hope to
about
God
you?
that Frankfurt can do the job at Barcelona, and we don't have to deal with them in the semifinals. Whoever
Yeah,
wins
man.
this
Talk
game.
about a result. Yeah, that'd be wild. Yeah, Katie, what about you? What do you think West Ham needs to do differently or the same next week?
Well, good thing we're not the old West Ham of last year where, we would get up in the beginning and slowly let everything slip through our fingers. But yeah, I mean, I don't care when we score. We have to step up and start, executing to score, because we were given opportunities that we could have capitalized on, and I felt like we didn't. So, especially when Antonio, gets the ball, just being able to spread the field and work the ball down the field in order to get off our shot, because we can do it. We are better at passing. We're better at communicating. And we need to do that in the second half of the field. And we just haven't done that when we are in that transition mode. So that's really what my hope and goal is. I think that Dawson absolutely was my man of the match. He played, with such heart, and I'm excited that him and Ariel are back there together. Their communication continues to improve. I also am really hoping to see Soufal come back. I'm a big Soufal fan, so love to see him. I think that he would be able to put a little bit of muscle into some of their finesse that they might not be used to. And I think that that's a good enough disruptor that we would be able to continue to, get turnovers and have the ball work down the field. So that's what I'm looking forward to next week.
Now, is Areola permanent, or is he still on loan from?
He's on the
PSG?
loan at the end of the season. We
PSG,
can
right?
buy him permanently. Yeah, he's on loan from PSG. Yeah, right now he played last season at Fulham. And then we signed him on loan at the beginning of the season. And I think you'll find I don't think you'll find too many West Ham fans who are like, oh, we don't need him, because I think dude's fantastic. I think throughout most of our Europa League games, he's been the starting keeper, I think, with the exception of like a couple. So I think, if we're able to keep him, that'd be fantastic, especially, he's a great talent. He's France's, number 2, I think, behind Courtois, if I'm not mistaken. So just international talent at that level. And he's young, so he could, potentially be here for a long amount of time. And I would imagine he's enjoying his time at West Ham.
It's London.
Especially,
he'll enjoy his time. Let's face it.
Well, yeah, I mean, not even just you have a point, but not even just the London aspect of it. I think just playing, European football, playing meaningful matches in the league. Playing meaningful matches, watching them from the bench, but being a part of that, I think, and I guess he's not the only Frenchman on the team either. I'm sorry?
Does he only play in cup competitions?
He has, yeah. For the most part, that's been his primary role. Yeah, pretty much any cup game that we've had, he's started for that, which is fine. I think it's a layer of security. I think we saw early on in our opening matches in the FA Cup and our League Cup and even Europa League, just what talent this guy has. So I think, wrapping him up would be probably, honestly, I would say priority number 2 this summer. Priority number 1 is trying to convince Declan to stay. If he does, that is up in the air as anything. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great if he were to stay. But I think the talent that the exposure he's getting on this level, I think are opening up more eyes to him. So we'll see what happens, because if a bigger team came for him, and especially started him promising league matches, I think it'd be hard for him to say no to that. So yeah, so I'm not sure. We'll see.
Is this big team we're talking about City?
No, it's not City. I don't think City's going to get rid of Ederson, and I don't think Ederson would leave. Just a team that their fan base would perceive themselves to be bigger than West Ham in that sense, because I think there's a common
I'm kidding. They're going relegation. What are you talking about?
There's a common misconception, even in England, that West Ham aren't as big of this team as we are. Fan base obviously has a wide reach. We pack a 60,000 seat stadium. It's actually expanding over the summer to, I think, 62,500, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like a soft spot for West Ham fans is not being, given the respect of being massive.
We are massive.
Yeah. So
you feel the same way in France. Usually Marseille is the biggest one, and then PSG likes to think they're big, but it's all those classic fans that they created, like in Qatar and around the world.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So, and then there's many of them only care about their collections because they only care about their fashion. They don't care what's on the pitch. That's a whole nother issue another day with PSG, because they're usually the ones that have no history, and basically when the cookie crumbles, it crumbles badly.
Yeah, PSG is your Man City.
Except Man City actually has a decent coach who can actually get the best out of any player that he has. So, Gabriel Jesus. So, and then Pochettino is just a bottler.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I think the only cup he hasn't won is Champions League. At least with City. That being said,
okay.
Which, I mean, it'd be great to see him not win it again. That'd be fantastic if City. If the one thing they can't win is the one competition that they briefly got banned from for a while. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know if I have anything else. Katie, got any more questions, or George have anything for us?
It's just going to be an interesting second leg.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have a lot more to discuss.
A lot more. Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have a lot more to discuss. Some people will be pissed off. Some people will be really happy.
Yeah.
The comment section will probably get a little bit more intense, right? Whoever or they might just shit on me. Who knows? For next week, or I might be able to, in the right way, if we do win and if we do proceed, to get the shit on those comments section that like to think that it was just us. So it will be an interesting episode. Let's put it that way, because yeah, that's going to be an interesting episode regardless of who's going to win or lose. So.
It is, and it will be good to hear what Thamal thinks of West Ham and how he thought that you guys played against us.
Depending, if we win, it might not be that bad, but if we lose, he might have some future voice words. Wink, wink. So,
all right. So my last question before we break.
Okay.
Of course, game prediction. So, what are you predicting for next Thursday?
Well, I will admit,
to know the score.
I will admit, you actually predicted this correctly with saying 1-1. So props to you on that. This is probably the most the hardest one because you don't know what to expect. This will definitely be a close game. I think it's 2-1. That's what I think considered close. 2-1, and it's gonna be us, but because we're at home, that's where that's leveraged. If it was flipped the other way around, I think it would have been 2-1 you guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely nervous about not being at home. That's definitely where my gut is going, 2-1, but I definitely have it in favor of the Hammers. I think that, we're really going to pull out ahead. I think we'll be able to do it. I don't know. What are you thinking, Celly?
I think there's going to be a lot more goals in it next week. And if I'm being honest, I do have this nagging feeling that it's going to go to extra time.
I was just going to say, what are the chances it's going to go to extra time?
Yeah, so I think the game itself will be 2-2, 3-3 aggregate going into extra time, and that it's going to end on a 4-3 aggro. But I honestly don't know who's going to win. I want to say West Ham. Obviously, that's way out there. But I think with the way that Lyon play and being at home, but in front of their supporters. That's the tricky part, because I know it helped us a lot against Sevilla being down 1-0, coming back and winning that match in aggregate 2-1. So, I think home atmosphere plays a lot. But I think, like how you were saying with the early goal, if West Ham is able to go there, get a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes and just kind of quiet the crowd down and they can only hear the away support, because I think whether we're winning or losing, that away support is going to do their best to drown out the home support. I think that's probably the way to go about it. The early goal is going to dictate the pace of the game for sure.
Or Absolutely. Some kind of event, God forbid, another red card or some injury, God forbid, if anything were to happen with that. So
right, yeah.
Now, I will say this though: there will not be any streakers on the pitch. There will not be any streakers on the pitch. We can't do that. We can't afford that.
Yeah, and again, like we were saying earlier, I genuinely don't think that was a West Ham fan because they know better.
Probably was.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one maybe, yeah. I mean, you probably just some drunk dude, just trying to get some attention. But the second one specifically, just the timing of that just felt so wrong, and not even just the fact that we were attacking, just that point in the game. It just felt so wrong for a West Ham fan to like, oh, my time to shine.
To answer Wally World, I think it's 56,000 is the total capacity at Lyon. So I would probably say, given the away support probably gets a couple hundred or however many things, I think it will be a sellout crowd.
For sure.
I'm not sure what the attendance is, unfortunately, yet, but I believe it's going to probably be pretty damn close, probably like 45, 50, and then a couple extra seats for separation with West Ham fans afterwards. It will definitely be packed. It'll definitely be loud. We'll definitely have our theme song before the game starts, so you'll be hearing that a lot. And you'll definitely hear a lot of good chants. It'll definitely be some back and forth chants, and it'll be loud. And I can't wait for it. So
I guess just kind of real quick. Sorry, I know we keep saying real quick, and we're about to end the show. But just kind of just off of something that you said, are you nervous that it might not be sold out?
No, it's definitely going to be sold out. I mean, it's a quarterfinals in Europe, which is our only good thing that we've done so far this season, unless we beat Strasbourg, and then that's a whole nother issue.
Sure.
And it's against West Ham. It's like one of the big teams, you know what I mean? And it's quarterfinals. if you don't sell out, you got problems. We ain't City. We're not City that don't have any that emptiness up in the second tier. It will be packed. It will be loud, and it will be amazing. It'll be a great time. Depends on who's the winning team.
No, yeah, I wasn't doubting that. I guess
Really
I just was thinking too hard about something that you had said. But yeah, no, definitely look forward to it. Hopefully the mall's able to join us again next week. I wouldn't be surprised if next week we have, one or two more, I guess, of our supporters on the show just to chat.
It'll be like a all-out attack.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're gonna sneak attack, smother you guys.
Right?
But yeah, no, George, always a pleasure. Good luck at the weekend.
Likewise.
In your league game. And
you guys got Brentford, correct? Or was it Burnley?
Yeah, Brentford away, yeah.
And then afterwards, it's Burnley. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because you can have me out for Burnley. It's all good. So it's all good.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, have a good one, man. Stay safe, all that good stuff. And
you as well. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again, guys.
Sounds good.
Oh, I can't do that. No, can't.
We're winning the game. We're winning the game.
Well, here's the thing. If Lyon does lose, I will do it for your next show.
Oh, okay.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
All right, but if we win, if you can get a background within your camera, you have to put the logo of Lyon on the background.
All right, we'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Done.
Come on, you Irons.
Allez, Lyon.